Fate Extella How to Link guide again. Today we'll be taking on Medusa, the rider class servant from Fate Stay Night. So I'm very happy to play her because she had literally maybe 5 minutes of airtime on her in the show itself. So with that being said, I couldn't help but want to play as her to learn her, and I wasn't disappointed with what I've seen, but it definitely was a hell of a ride to play as her. I mean, it gave more to the character than what we've seen in the, Stay Night. I'm not counting what you may or may not have seen in Grand Order, because Grand Order is an alternative to everything. Although it stands on its own timeline, don't get me wrong, it's still an alternative, per se, on the events that's going down. Because instead of servants aren't the same class, or when they are, it's different. And I'm not saying nothing bad, I'm just saying from what we can see off the original, Stay Night, where she was introduced, she had 5 minutes of screen time. I know that's not an actual thing, but is a metaphor and shit like that, so. But with that being said, let's get down into the character herself. First, I would just like to say, like I already said, she was from Fate Stay Night. She is a rider class, I said before, and she has a defense and attack of 1,500. So, with that being said, much like her character in the show, very bland, very easy to forget. So with that being said, it's a matter of if you actually enjoyed her character for the time she was there. I know for some of the time it was, I guarantee it's the easiest to forget. Although she was technically the first one down by technicalities, I just feel like her plot, her involvement was literally useless if they didn't have a legitimate use for her. I feel like involving her into this series was stupid to begin with, if they were going to just cut her out of the series like that. Right as she was put in, just bam, gone. I'd snap, but I can't right now because it's been it won't allow me to, so. But with that being said, her involvement's useless, although she's more of a servant in this, or more of a character in this than in the show. It made it really hard to choose her abilities and stuff. But with that being said, I'm going to get into her abilities that I choose. As you can tell, I didn't play as her under this account. I've only did trial runs, etc. The usual stuff you'll see from my point of view. Or the usual stuff you'll hear me do from the other guys, where I just pulled up my secondary account and played under there, because I didn't dislike her, but I didn't enjoy her. But that was a little bit of time ago though, so I just want to make sure to go and make sure to have that clarified. So with her, I couldn't tell if she was a long range, medium range rider class, because in the show she had no riding ability at all. I don't ever recall her having anything to ride on. So with that being said, I will keep her rider class skill because, clear reasons. But besides that, I chose a different approach with her than I usually would with any of the other servants. And besides the times where you see me playing as, Lancelot last stream, you'll notice that I played as her then, but at that same point, that was Lancelot, this is her. So, I want to clarify that, because Lancelot, even if he does take someone's form, that's still him. I'm not judging a different servant off his ability. So that's why, I didn't say anything too spectacular. That's why I said that I don't remember a real opinion, because the power and all that stuff she weld, it was completely questionable, and her usage is all different depending on the skills and stuff. So with that being said, don't bite my head off for remembering what my original opinion was, because at the moment I don't remember what I thought of her. I didn't think poorly, but I didn't think highly, and I think that's the best way to put it until I can remember, or until I get a fresh new opinion after showing in this guide. So, with that being said, we're going to start off with Belleroth, or Belleroth. I'm going to just call it Belleroth. I see the on there, but fuck that. This is a rider class skill with 225.92 damage with a 13-second cooldown. And I mean, it's a basic rush attack skill. It's a rider class skill, much like Astolfo's Hippogriff. She will summon her mount, which would be probably based off the Greek mythology and bullshit she's based off of. I'm going to assume is Greek mythology, but I don't want to assume. But, you know, with that being said, I just will say, you know, I'm going to quickly make sure... What the fuck? Bam. But I'm going to make sure that Medusa... Yes, Medusa was in fact a Greek mythology. I just didn't want to sound stupid for not officially knowing that after looking into this stuff a little bit. So, she is Greek mythology. I just was thinking Norse mythology for a moment, so... entirely different things, so... But with that being said, let's get on with the... besides that, let's move on to our next skill, which would be the Chain Strike. 24.0 with a 11-second cooldown. All you're gonna do is smack the shit out of your opponent with chains, really. Like, you'll dual wield your chains and you're gonna beat the shit out of them. That's it. And much like Astolfo, as you can tell, I'm going for it's a similar build to Astolfo's, actually. I'll be frank about it. I took this and I pretty much made her the female Astolfo, per se. Like, don't mistake in it, like I'm trying to turn her into Astolfo. It's just I'm using that same base and my style as plain as Astolfo, and I'm using it on her. The Hippogriff, which allows me to rush attack. Belleroth here, the Chain Strike, these small consecutive slashes, and you know, I'm taking skills that one had and I'm just moving it to the next person. So with that being said, that's where I'm going, because if I'm not mistaken, this is the second rider class servant of the game. If I'm not mistaken, is the key phrase there. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head, because I don't remember every little thing about this. But with that, you know, I don't want to go and get something in y'all's head. I do believe this is the second rider. I think there's only 3 rider classes in here, which is Astolfo himself, the best in my opinion. Although he's not physically the strongest, I'm going to continuously say he's the best. Medusa, and if I'm not mistaken, Iskandar is the last one. So, but if there is, I am totally sorry. Just post it down in the comments, I guess, if you have such a problem and you must tell me that I was wrong. Go ahead, but, you know, I don't give a shit, and I'll probably correct myself in the next rider class stream, so just throwing that out there, so you can go fuck yourself. But with my previous statement, monstrous strength is literally the same exact thing as power-up for Astolfo. It's a power-up strength or strengthening skill, and it's going to increase attack power, speed, and just overall speed for a brief time. This only has a 25-second cooldown, no attack power, and as you can tell, I'm pretty much lining these up in the same order as, as I would in the game. Whereas Astolfo, where one's in one place, the other's in the other, I'm literally lining up to be the same. Breaker Gorg is a restriction skill, much like the Astolfo's Lance. But with that being said, I'm actually going to break away from the small build, and I am actually going to put, I was originally going to put the Blood Fort, but that's only it's not as useful as it sounds. Like, it has no legitimate thing. It just says it surrounds yourself with a small barrier. That's literally all it says, and it does attack power, but my guess is much like the Noble Phantasm, you weaken down the opponent and you know. But I was gonna put that. It has a 12 attack with a 10-second cooldown, but ultimately though, it's one of those things of I do believe a mobile attack skill. Fuck off. I clearly left for a reason. Sorry about this, guys. I'm generally trying to be professional about it, but with that being said, I am just going to throw that out there that, you know, this is pretty much like I'm going to, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't remember putting nothing in my, not, like in my notebook saying anything about it, that this is pretty much the same exact thing as the, as my one thingamajiggy, my notebook for guides, that I record everything in, and with that being said, I ain't having those two items. And with that being said, the last thing is going to be Gorgon Locked, which you're going to pretty much, is a burst attack skill. You're pretty much just going to, make like a little tornado with your chains and smack everybody in the, proximity of it, really. It's going to be a 19.20 attack power with an 8-second cooldown. And pretty much that's the only difference between the two builds, between her and Astolfo, is where I go a little more offensive with her and then I would with Astolfo. Now, here we go. As you can tell, I still didn't mess with any of her things here. And if you can't tell, I hate to do this. I really will. I will admit right here, right now, I am rushing through this. Because it's not that I have nothing against the player or nothing. It's just, I want it somewhere else in a different matter right now. And I'm trying to make sure to quickly do this, but thoroughly do this, so. But more than half of everything you're about to see has been stuff that's been covered, so there's no need to re-talk about it. The only thing I'm going to really say about the build-wise, and I'll explain it during the fight, is initially everything I have is going to be just straight down the middle. It's going to be straight down the middle. It's going to be pretty basic, but pretty effective for a rider. I'm going to say she don't have nothing special to her name. She's going to have a good defense, a good offense, and I'm just going to make her an all-around servant instead. So with that being said, I think I'm going to put more to her attack power though, because she went down like a, you know, bitch in the anime, but that's only because plot reasons. I feel like she was more stronger than what she's supposed to be, and because it's Medusa, one of the most famous mythologies in the game and stuff, or just in general, because almost everyone's heard of the name Medusa. I'm really going to make her, you know, a little more badass, because Medusa's badass anyways. So with that being said, I'm going to just give you the heads up on what my intentions are now. But with that being said, we got our Martial Blessing. Because she seems to always have a range within her attacks, no matter if she fought close or far, I'm going to put Clairvoyance on there. Because in the anime she was close and, you know, ranged. And so I'm going to mimic that same ideal. Next is going to be, I was going to put Spirit Slayer in here. And for the time being I will. Because this is one of those skills that I may or may not replace, as a matter of perspective, but Natural Body is going to be in here. And with that, I'm going to follow that up with the Moon Drive, which makes her more about her mana and shit like that. And with that is our final attack skill, and I am going to move my placement of Spirit Slayer for the time being. Now here is her different types of, here's her different abilities, her unique skills and stuff. For the most part, I don't really hit them. And I almost forgot, I clearly forgot to put it in my notes, but Monstrous Strength was one of them. It wasn't Spirit Slayer, it was Monstrous Strength. Like I said, I was going to make an all-arounder. I don't know why I forgot. Let me put that back in my notes, but with that being said, Monstrous Strength is really just supposed to break through her guard breaks and stuff like that, making her easier to where she don't have to deal with blocking and shit like that. It would just fuck off, take her out type ideal. And because, you know, her ability called for it, I'm like, you know what, there's an incentive to use it. But initially I thought, you know, if she's going to be an all-around type servant, let me make sure to go on, you know, I'm like, if I'm going to make her all-around, but I'm going to boost up her aggressive fighting style and shit like that, I decided, you know what, actually, let's try this. Let's see if that was actually worth it, and it actually was. I don't know why, because it's not that, after looking, it's not that it wasn't put down in my notes. It's the fact that it got smudged up a bunch because pencil writing, and if you've written with a pencil and shit a lot, you would know. But that is going to be the next ability. It was actually Guardian of the Moon that may or may not be replaced. Multiple builds for multiple characters. It's sometimes confusing, so bear with me. Next is Magic Resistance, because she has the perk on it, and because she has the item on it. Next up, because of the anime part of it, I'm going to add in, clearly I'm going to add Obstinite in there, and I'm also going to add in a anti-hero, if I can find it. I'm pretty much, I said it was going to be an all-arounder, but really it's just going to be both. I'm not touching up none of the support skills this time, because with that, rush, close, strengthen, and then burst. It's hitting any of those in particular would not do you any good. So with that being said, there's no need to go and do anything more or anything less. But I will say, I mean, you can increase her speed, but for all intents and purposes, this is how I like her, just so she's not too much on one, too much on the other. Although in this scenario, she is more, you know, fighting, clearly based off the skills, you could see there's more put to fighting over to being put onto the defense side. But my double skill build consists of pretty much the same things. But this time, we are actually going to be able to take the Guardian of the Moon, or we could take out the Obstinite and Anti-Hero, and pop ourselves a double skill of that. Come on, you know, it's the best damn idea we've had. As soon as I find it. Bam! Look at that, we got ourselves an item. We're gonna keep this magic resist. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna have it stay the same, and we're going to actually go back to defense skills and re-add Anti-Hero. The reason why we're doing this is because she went down like a bitch against the other servant, against Caster in their show. So with that being said, yeah. Plus, like I said, I want her defense to be all around, and the regular enemies, they don't do too much compared to how much how much an official servant can do to an opponent. So with that being said, that's why I'm having another anti-hero on here, knowing that I already have one on there. So, continuing on though, we will not have a magic resist or anything like that, because I find it to be useless. However, at that same point, I left out the support skills, and this is where it starts to get put in. We replace the clairvoyance with the assassin variation of it, so let me move that over there. And the Guardian of the Moon will also be replaced. Let's see, Martial Blessing and Rider. Oh, look at that. We just nailed ourselves 2 support skills. So, boosting up 2 of my active skill abilities while keeping the previous thing. That is what I initially do. Oh, look at that natural body. Guess what? Lancer. Wow. We have that. Mana recovery. We are not boosting up the burst attack at all, so don't even think about it. I made you think one thing, didn't I? We're going to take Monstrous Strength, remove it, and replace it with Martial Blessing, Monstrous Strength. So with what that's gonna do is, once I do it like this, and move this right here, bam! This is gonna give us a nice little all-rounder. Now, I would put Supreme Strike with the Guardian of the Moon, but there's no point of it. And this is how the build's gonna go. We have 2 Martial Blessings up there. There's no need for more. And everything we had previously has been balanced out, so we're keeping it like this. You just think, oh well, why not just tap on the double skill? Because if I don't need to, I will not tap on the extra double skill. And in this case, it's not needed. You would think, oh well, it's not going to hurt nothing. You're right, it's not going to hurt nothing, but in all reality, it's not really going to benefit anything. With some servants, it really don't benefit at all. Although it's all aggressive damage based, her Noble Phantasm is one of the weakest in the game. Even after adding on something to tack that on, it's still one of the weakest. So, you could tack it on, but at that same point, there's no point. You could just go and boost up the points on the on the monster, the Guardian of the Moon, but at that same point, a few points can be the change of the battle, but at that same, when I'm talking about it, yes, a few points, I've said it before, 1 point could be the change of the battle. This is an offline build. You should be able to conquer anything with this. And if you still want to question me, put it on there yourself. You don't have to follow every last... You don't have to follow all my orders, well, not orders, you don't have to follow everything I say. This is just how I have her built, so if you have a problem with that, go fuck yourself, and yeah. I'm not changing the way I have her built for you, so... Just saying. But with that being said, here we got the Fate Stay Night costume, her original attire, just what we see her out in terms of the costume. Extremely sexy, let me tell you. She does have a bathing or a swimsuit costume. You would think I have it, but I don't. And then the same costume, just without her visitor, you know, her fucking mask. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. Same thing, no mask, so ta-da. And then next is the outfit you've seen her wearing beforehand, but is more of it hits more of her Greek mythology side. However, yeah, it's gonna hit that. It just keeps the masks on, and yeah, you would think you could get a booty shot in there. Sorry guys, you can't. And then the same thing, but what I was wearing, the same outfit without the mask on, and then the Chun-Li looking outfit. I'm not gonna display the, keep rotating these guys because you can see them, like the first spin on the first outfit, maybe the second spin on the first outfit shows you exactly what it looks like. The only difference is literally all I have to do is for her in particular, because there's multiple outfits are the same, I'm just gonna zoom in for her and I'm gonna show you the differences. Like that's the difference between her thing here and her masks is really the difference, whether you have it or not. I'm just going to quickly re-show you the masks, and then I'll do a zoom up of the last one, because that does not have a change within her outfit. And then the rest of her outfit, and yeah, it's basic outfit, and then what everyone sees in Fate Stay Night, or Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, which, when I say she went down like a, sack of shit, or, like a little bitch, I'm talking about Unlimited Blade Works. I don't know how the original Stay Night went, so with that being said, don't kill me for this. And what I would say the Chun-Li outfit, because this heavily reminds me of Street Fighter's Chun-Li. Just a little less Chun-Li like, and probably just to avoid copyright things, to be honest. But at the same point, it's heavily influenced from what it looks like from Street Fighter's Chun-Li, and to support the outfit, what I said, I'm gonna spin this around up close too. And honestly, it's one of my favorite outfits on her. It really is. And although I had that equipped, I'm gonna actually equip this for the fight, mainly because I'm running with her all the time in the other outfit. So, but with that being said, we're gonna move on. Like I said, we got ourselves our theme support and everything. So let's continue on with the mission. Well, I made this pretty nice and easy and real quick, and I made this by far as easy as I could to have someone understand this. If you can't understand it, well, that's your fault. So, with that being said, yep. And as fuck off. Fuck off. I forgot, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting how to play at times too. I've been doing other games as well, so. With that being said, her rush attack ability, that's literally her rush. That's supposed to be her mount. I kid you not. Her Gorgon chains, her strengthening skill, and her chain slash or chain strike, that's literally her extent of her moves. Her moves are not as flashy either. They're not really too much of anything. Much like her character, not very much to show and display. And that's why I think she's one of the hardest ones, because she's not too much out there. And I forgot the Mystic Code, you guys, so I will just tell you right now, I was gonna replace her Mystic Code with the Defenseless Mr. Shinji, just because it's the one of the few times where I could add in the fact that, you know, it was a previous Master Servant scenario, so that's why I would have done it. Because honestly, she's that bad in my opinion. Because she's not worth considering just because she feels like there's not very much to her. It's all just, there's nothing too spectacular about her. Just something you see and something you just have to deal with. But she's not too bad, and I will be doing a makeup stream for online, because from what it sounds like, I will not be able to activate that. So I will say that from what it sounds like, I will not have somebody with me. So sorry about it, but I'm just gonna tell you guys now, because A, I'm being rushed per se, and B, I'm already dealing with shit. There's no point, and my usual opponent may or may not be there, so I'm just gonna go and say today this stream will not be there. And to be honest, I was actually quite close to just removing the entire idea of, you know, and just completely reschedule her guide, but I'm not going to be lazy like that, because a small little bit didn't go the way I thought it would, so. And her active skill. Perhaps one of the most redeeming factors about her, besides her looks and stuff like that, there's very little to really relate back to the character herself, and that's what's so disappointing. Oh, shut up, you pissed me off. You're annoying as hell, shut up. Okay, go shut the fucking door. Open up. Asshole. But ultimately, I don't have too much of a fond opinion, because there's not really much to a character in my opinion. But she's not a bad servant, just I feel like her character is just really there to even out maybe the classes. I think it was probably best that, you know, I think really, besides the fact that just even after trying to even out the classes, I feel like it's only because she's a legendary and a very well-known mythology, and probably one of the most well-known servants out there because of the name of Medusa. And as you probably would have guessed, without even seeing this, that, you know, Medusa is, well, Greek mythology and all that shit, so. I will say, though, she is good at comboing, though. She's not too strong, but she can combo off like a real bitch, and she can be quick, so. I ultimately don't have too fond of an opinion, like I said before, but I surely don't have a negative opinion, but it's surely not fond. But she could get the job done, and she's a good refresher, if that. Like, it's always nice to just play as her because it's real nice for refreshing, you know, just someone new type deal. So that's why I don't have too much of a problem with her. Plus, I do enjoy her outfits a lot, so. Come on, give me the money. I know I don't need it, but I'm still greedy. Kick it. Kick it, I said. Yeah, nice work. You can praise me later. But at least she did have a, as you tell, she's kicking, and notice how much quicker I broke through her defense. That's what the monstrous thing does, if I'm not mistaken. It makes it much easier for me to penetrate that shield than it usually would. So. Get out of here. And the clairvoyance, as you can tell, is working just fine because I'm still keeping a range difference. Or not difference, but a range and her noble phantasm. Unlike the movie or this, or not movie, but the show and this, or the counterpart, she gets an actual mount now. Which feels a lot like a spell pose, actually. It's just not as flashy, funny, or entertaining to watch. She calls out the name of her mystical pet and crash into the ground. Much shorter, less flashy, not as entertaining. You're a saber and you can't handle this. Come on. Well, I mean, the clairvoyance does add on to the range, so even if it's not by much, that small bit does count. Master is under attack. Oh, fuck off. But as of what's gonna go on next week, we'll be taking off the guys for our next servant. Nothing new. I'm debating, like, on the 10th, of August, we will have a new, there may be an extra guide, and I will say, on top of having an extra guide, I may actually also have a PvP going out. A full-blown PvP event for PlayStation users. Join as you wish. And I'll keep that up. I will probably have it at the same time as my usual event. So, nothing too spectacular, but fuck off. What the fuck I will wreck you. I will bam. I don't care how much I like you. Fuck out of here. You bitch. You stopped me. So, with that being said, yeah, I'm easily taking a moment through these enemies. But as a quick refresher, as of her abilities, equipment, stuff like that, this is what they are. I am actually going to say, because Medusa is one of the shittiest servants, I highly doubt, anyone would care too much about it. But this is, a refresher of what I have, just in case if anyone who's joined, this is what it is. And I will be right back. I need to take care of something, which is also why I'm doing this, so. Anyways, guys, I will be leaving in a couple of minutes again, and give you one more opportunity to go and revise what you're seeing. But the reason why I am doing a stream on the 10th of August is, I know it's not Saturday. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Friday. But the reason behind that is going to be a special stream. And you should be happy enough I'm even doing an extra stream. So, but that is a heads up, and anything else stream-wise, I'm not sure what's going to go on. Don't ask me, I don't like planning ahead. But there's typical things. I'm going to try to get the stream to go off on this appropriate time. Get down, guy. Yeah, let's kick it back. And I will display this once again. Because of all that, I will say you may get an extra guide. If you don't, well, oh well. But I will have a stream going one of those days, and you'll know why it's going off. I'm just not explaining it yet because I'm too lazy to. Fuck off. finish this, shall we? I got more important business to tend to. Bitch. I also forgot, now that I'm looking at it, Drake is also a Rider class servant. Which is funny because I covered her like maybe 2 weeks ago. But yes, there's only 4 Rider servants. Now that I remember it, there's 4 of them. So, fuck you. Die already. Man, she's getting tagged by everyone in Stay Night. First there's Altora, and then it's me, and then Nameless comes into play. Damn, she's getting tagged by everyone. Apparently Stay Night's better than Last Encore, eh? Alright, bitch. She's down forward. Just die. Yeah, pathetic show indeed. I don't have my drive skill activated, bitch. But as you can tell, she does have that power. She has everything to her name, just not what you would expect, and a very fair share of everything. Although she does have a pretty dope looking weapon. I will say that. Yeah, fuck off. But with that, guys, I will say next. It's already maxed out. They're all maxed out. That's what's funny about this. I didn't care too much about it. I just bring them along because, yeah, I like throwing them off. Yes. Fuck off. Now we get to go mad. So. But yeah, guys, with that being stated, that's our servant, Medusa. She's a very lovely servant. She's not the best, and I will probably, in my ranking guide, I will rank her pretty lowly. I don't think too highly of her, but I don't think poorly of her. She's just not my cup of tea. Where she's almost as efficient as Stalpo is. She just feels weaker than he is, but ultimately is not as bad, is nowhere close. Next up, we'll be taking up our next Berserker servant, Lu Bu. He's also the strongest servant in the game. But, I mean, he's going to be a blast to use. I still don't recall when he was even thrown into the damn show. I think he's the first servant of everyone. I think maybe Elizabeth is actually the first one. Where I don't know the where they are coming, where they came from. So with that being said, that's what it said. So with that, I'm gonna say thanks, guys, for coming in to watch something. Well, not really watch, but thanks for coming in to learn something. I know this was not the best stream, and I know it was completely rushed. Don't think I don't know that I don't feel as rushed. But with this being said, I know my opponent is not online. I can't do very much right now, and I'm also being rushed anyways. But most likely, the odds are I'm going to be taking and doing a makeup stream sooner or later anyways, once I start missing more servants who has yet to be able to be playing online. So with that being said, I hope you guys learned something, and Retro's on it. And then with that being said, Retro out, guys. Hope you learned something real nice. And until next time.